Anorexia and Alzheimer's, two frightening diseases which affect thousands of Canadians. In our monthly book club, we look at two touching novels which tackle these difficult subjects with compassion and humor. Here's CJOH's Kim Brunhuber with this month's edition of Cover to Cover.
Three critics, two books, one choice. This is Cover to Cover. Today our book club guests will do battle over two books about mental disorders, The Memory Artists versus Skinny. Skinny is a touching and troubling first novel about a young woman in the grips of a deadly disease, anorexia. We follow the 23-year-old protagonist in and out of hospital as she struggles to compete with her younger sister, discover the truth about her family past, and overcome the addiction to her terrifying illness. The Memory Artists follows the lives of a group of patients under the care of an eccentric Montreal neurologist. His patients are an odd bunch, a man who sees voices as colors, a homeopathic idiot savant, an actress who has lost her memory due to a date rape drug, and a man whose quest is to seduce 26 women in alphabetical order. Both of these novels by Montreal writers are about mental disorders. Both feature improbable love triangles. Both are written from multiple points of view, and both are marred, in my view, by annoying postmodern tics. But enough of my opinion. Let's hear what our book club guests have to say. Jennifer Herman is the regional manager at Chapters Indigo, and Domenico Pecora is a member of our Cover to Cover book club. All right, gang, two excellent novels, but there can only be one winner in our battle of the books. And Jennifer, which one was it?
It's got to be Skinny. Love the characters, love the writing style. Oprah should have picked this book. It's just one of those feel-good reads. Touches on a really serious social issue, but wonderful read.
All right, well, I disagree, but Dominic will come to my rescue and show his taste and discernment, I'm sure.
Unfortunately, I have to disagree with you and agree with Jennifer. I think that Skinny was well written from cover to cover. It was consistent, and the ending was just reflected the book, overall book. I found The Memory Artist to be well written, well researched, but the ending was rushed. I felt as the author had to wrap up very quickly.
All right, well, I agree with you about the ending, but I disagree with everything else you had to say, so maybe if I explain why, you guys will hopefully change your minds. The main character in The Memory Artists is an unusual man called Noel who can not only remember everything he sees, but see everything he hears in the form of colors and shapes. He goes to a Montreal neurologist, Dr. Émile Vorta, who is the student of the infamous and real Dr. Wilder Penfield. Noel spends most of his time in his basement lab trying to find a cure for his mother's Alzheimer's, which may or may not have been induced by Dr. Vorta. He's helped by a curious assortment of characters, including Noel's alter ego, the sexual conquistador Norval Blanquière. Now, this quirky novel talks about the nature of memory and creativity, and you guys didn't seem to appreciate it.
Well, it was just, Kim, because the book focused on so many characters, so many issues. Books certainly well researched, but each of those characters could have been a book in and of themselves.
I have to agree with Jennifer. The book just was a bit too choppy, and the ending just made it even more so.
What did you guys think of the way that the story was told? It was told from all these different points of view. Not only that, but they were all sort of diary entries, newspaper articles, clippings, lab reports.
In terms of the diaries, the news clippings, and in fact the diaries, when it was from the mother's point of view, the diaries were in the form of a typewriter print, and as her memory deteriorated, so did the quality of the diary and the typing.
All right, well, let's talk about the books that you guys liked, and that was Skinny. Skinny is a book about two girls, 23-year-old med student Giselle and her 14-year-old sister. The novel alternates between their points of view, although there's no doubt who's in charge of the narrative. Giselle, who suffers from anorexia. Her disease takes the form of a third voice which nags, criticizes, and shrieks at Giselle to stop her from eating. Giselle makes it out of hospital and is once again able to love others, but ultimately not herself. It's a tragic story, one that rings all too true for many of us. I have a personal connection to this book. I watched somebody who I love suffer from an eating disorder, so it definitely rang true. It was definitely a realistic portrayal. But in terms of the craft, I don't find it compares to The Memory Artist. So why did you guys like this so much?
What I found really unique was how each chapter flipped from the perspective of one sister to that of the other sister, and how they sort of helped each other even though they were oftentimes
competition.
in competition with each other.
Well, not only that, but as you said, Kim, most of us know somebody who's either fought a disease like anorexia or bulimia, or just the whole issue of women and body image and now men and body image is something near and dear to all of our hearts. And as you said, just the fact of flipping back and forth between two sisters and providing two very different images of the same scenario was fascinating to me and
But
touched me.
Holly was such a cardboard sister. I mean, she really didn't exist for me. She was just a foil for her sister. All right, well, obviously my arguments have fallen on deaf ears. You guys still preferred Skinny. I'm still going with the memory artists, but the good thing about this particular episode of Cover to Cover is that you can't really go wrong with either novel, both in completely different ways or inventive and compassionate looks at the lives of those who are prisoners in their own minds. Cover to Cover will be on hiatus for the next 6 months. We hope you'll tune in when we return in the summer. I'm Kim Brunhuber.
You're watching Ottawa's news leader, CJOH Television.